Hello, welcome to Lessons from History, because history, humanity's story, has something to teach us. Today's event is the assassination of Julius Caesar. Can you remember when it happened? That's right, 44 BCE. The mnemonic device was Caesar being stabbed with two fours turned into knives. To further embed this in your mind if you're having difficulty, might be to imagine the sound of the stabs, maybe Caesar going, ugh, or maybe just throwing in an et tu, Brute into the mix. Now, what can we learn from this moment in time? It's actually a good lesson for politicians and a relatively functioning democracy. The lesson is this: what destroys democracies is not just the would-be dictators. You see, Caesar could be called a fascist leader. Not the most terrible one in all of history, I guess, but certainly he ticks a lot of the boxes. He gained power through popular support by pointing out its corruption, the general suckiness of the established aristocracy. He was also prepared to throw certain groups of people under a bus or under a chariot to gain popularity, like the Gauls, for example. He took power in a military coup. He called himself a dictator, and he put cronies in power, and he built monuments to himself. Sound like anyone we know? However, the Senate at the time was pretty poor too. They were aristocratic, conservative, they believed people should stay in their place, failed to see that Caesar was a product of their own making, and when they killed him, the Republic ended anyway. Rome's failing democracy was a product of the establishment. Sound like anyone we know? Nearly 100 years before Caesar, Tiberius Gracchus was a tribune who tried land reform to help the plebs, the common people, even bypassing the Senate to get it done. However, the Senate was oligarchical. It bribed another tribune to scupper the plan and even had Gracchus murdered, taking out the man of the people, the one trying to improve democracy. The system he tried to improve, that the Senate did not want changed at all. The lesson here is this: when it seems like your democracy is falling apart, it does make sense to stop the would-be dictator who's trying to take advantage of that. It really does help to stop him. However, equally as bad is the establishment that isn't changing. The dictator isn't the only problem. You need to change the system that is causing this collapse. Removing Caesar from power is a good idea, no question, but Caesar was right about a good many things. The swamp of the Roman Senate, the patrician families, was a fetid pool of money-powered inefficiency. Remind you of anything? That needs to change too. The lesson here is that democracies fall not just by the dictator, but also by the establishment that can't see when it's time to make things better, to change the system, to let go of power. You probably aren't the leader of a country, but reread this history. Take a good look at your own government, because maybe one side is getting a bit dictatorial and the other isn't doing what is needed, and the democracy you want to maintain is dying on its feet. Thanks for watching Lessons from History. Goodbye.